we're going to walk through the fuel system quick. Okay, obviously gas tank, and something that's very important here too is notice this little hose. This is your vent hose because the gas in your tank needs to be open to atmospheric pressure. Right here is the little outlet where the gas comes out. Be careful, sometimes what will happen is the hose that goes in the tank will rot off. So you might be going along and you're 3/4 full yet, and all of a sudden your machine won't run anymore. Well, it's because once the fuel level gets below that, it just won't run anymore. There's no more gas available. See the fuel lines come out of here. Again, there's normally a stopcock, so you can turn the gas on and off. And this thing's absolutely essential. Again, this is what keeps the pieces, the chunks out of your fuel pump and out of the carburetor. And then this would go to the fuel pump, which we just talked about. And then the line here, the lines will come out of the fuel pump and supply gas to the carburetors. And again, the carburetors, again, are different sizes, and depending on the displacement of the engine. And let's take this guy off quick. This is the cap. Again, this is the throttle cable. You see the spring in here? And this is what is pushing the slide. I call it the slide. Sometimes they call it a piston. It pushes the slide back down to close off the opening here in the carburetor. Okay? So again, the purpose of the carburetor is to mix the gas and the air in the proper ratio, depending on if you're idling, half throttle, 3/4 throttle, full throttle. Okay? Simply to take this apart, if you lift up this spring, and there's this other little metal piece in there, that's what helps to hold this in. See the metal on the end of the cable? It hooks inside. This piece here keeps that from coming unhooked. So again, here's the slide, carburetor slide, and notice it's got a groove here. There's a groove inside the body of the carburetor, so it slides up and down and it can't turn. This cutout here is for the so you can adjust the throttle, or adjust the idle is what that's for. Okay, and here's the needle. Now be real careful when you pull these out, because a lot of times there's a little plastic spacer in there. Don't lose that plastic spacer. And notice on the top of there's a little E-clip. So what you can do then is, if the machine is running too lean, what you can do is take this E-clip off and move it down a notch. What that does is it picks the needle up and allows more gas through the carburetor. If you get a lean condition, it'll melt the piston. Lean is when you don't have enough gas mixed with the air. Rich is when you have more gas with the air than you really need. With the spark plugs are an indicator of how your machine is running. What I like on I'll mention this while I'm doing this. When I'm troubleshooting or looking at my machines, the two strokes like this that are carbureted, what I'm looking for in the plug is a chocolate brown. That's telling me that it's not too lean, it's not too rich, it's safe. If you're starting to get lighter than that, into the tan, that kind of thing, you're asking for it. And if it's real black, you're getting too much fuel. So adjust the needle valve. Drop it down. You got to make sure you think about that properly, because when you drop the needle down, what that does is it closes off the passageway more. So it's going to be more of a lean condition. Now, I just mention this quick is some of the older, guys that back in the day with carbureted machines, see this little cap? You can actually take this cap off, and they make tools you can reach up inside and actually change the main jet without even taking the carburetor and all off the machine. Inside of here, what you're looking for is make sure things are nice and clean. If you're seeing white or green, you've got corrosion. And that means you've got water in your system. You don't want that. That's bad. In other words, this is called the float bowl. So what happens is when the gas comes from the fuel pump into the float bowl, what it does is these float, they come up, they push on this. And there's a valve right up here, right inside here, that shuts the fuel flow off then. In other words, it won't allow any more gas to come into the float bowl. Sometimes what can happen is if that messes up and if it doesn't close, what'll happen is then there's all kinds of gas going into the combustion chamber or into the crankcase, and that you don't want that. Okay.